Hey, what's going on, guys? CodeMechaKins here. Welcome to this web scraping with the JQuery in the browser console crash course, where we're supposed to be creating a full-blown web scraper using the only single Chrome Developer Tools console, basically. So if you're interested, buckle up and we begin. So the very first thing to consider, I want to open the Chrome Developer Tools on the target side. I'm supposed to be scraping, and just to bear in mind that in order to crawl through the range of pages, we can't just directly apply the selectors here and try to extract data, even though it's possible, but that's the way to go only in case if we want to scrape just the only page, basically. And I would first kind of demonstrate you that, and then we'll crawl through the range of pages, 2 pages in particular in this case, and then we would be extracting the data out of there, and then eventually we'll store the data either to JSON format and to CSV format as well. So nevertheless, the very first thing to consider, we actually need to import the JQuery library, and by default, like say on this site, quotes to scrape, JQuery is not available, so that's the reason to actually import it. So I want to create the variable called JQuery, and I want to say like document.create element, and I want to create the script tag. And now let's have a look at our head tag here. So we would be appending this script containing the jQuery right over in here. Okay, so the next thing to consider, actually, we need to specify the source for our jQuery library. So source would be equal, and now I need to go to jQuery CDN and try to grab the latest source. Well, the latest is not obvious, but still, like, okay. And the very last step to consider here would be just to append this jQuery variable to the head tag. And then in order to do this, I want to say document.get elements by tag name, and sorry, so many typos, by tag name, and we're looking for a head tag. As far as it returns the list, we need to specify the very first index and .append, and here we're appending our jQuery variable. Now look right over in here, and as far as I hit enter, jQuery link kind of was created here. So from now on, we can actually make use of the jQuery, and you see like it's not undefined. Well, trust me, it wasn't defined before we did import this jQuery module. So first, let me just try to show you some little stuff regarding the data extraction logic, just to give you an idea of how it looks like. But again, like, the limitation for the direct data extraction logic is that we can't crawl through the range of pages, and in order to do that, we actually need to fetch the data, so make an HTTP request, but that would be covered just a little bit later on. So let's consider that we're looking for a div tags with a class equals to quote, and I just know this because I've been scraping this quotes to scrape so many times, and I've made so many tutorials on this. So you see, like, this parent div is the one that we're looking for, and then for every div in particular, I want to apply the each method which is a high-level jQuery iterator, quite interesting. So function, and no arguments needed here, and here I can simply say like again, like, to so this keywords represents every single object within this div class quotes list, and I'm enclosing them within the jQuery function in order to use it as a selector, and then we can recursively find for, say, let's have a look for our quotes. So basically we're looking for a span with a class of text, so find span with a class equals to text. And again, as far as, so if we want just to print the very first one, we could have just say text, but if we want to print all the quotes available, again, like, we need to use this each method here, and within the each method, again, another function here, and here we can say console.log and this again and .text, and I hold my breath. I hope to see the list of quotes being extracted. So perfect. But again, like even if we did extract all the data this like manner, still will be kind of limited to the only single page here. But we want to scrape data through the multiple pages. So let's keep this material just as a proof of concept that jQuery can be actually used quite efficiently in order to for the data extraction purposes. And now let's try to kind of write a real scraper. So we would be crawling through the range of pages, but first let's try to scrape the data from the first one, and then we'll just enclose this within the loop, and we would be able to extract the data from the multiple pages. So the very first thing to consider, I would like to say like fetch, and now we want to grab this sort of a URL here, and again, like later on we will replace this page with some sort of a variable. Well, probably we can do this. Let's go for this just right at the moment. So loop over the range of pages, and here I can say for variable page equals to 1 and page is less than 3, right? So the 1 and 2, yeah, and increment the page plus plus here, and here I just want to say make HTTP request to the target page URL. Okay, and here instead of this 1 we want to append page, but we want to convert this to string, and that's the reason to say like this, like page dot to string. And well, actually let's try to run this to make sure that the promise, yeah, is just kind of working perfectly well. So making up to 2 requests right over in here. So let me also try to okay, so I just want to say well, let's just want to make sure that the loop is actually working. So let me just log the page here, and this like okay. I'm not sure why the page. Hold on, guys. Okay, I'm sorry. Just this is a bit strange, to be honest. Oh, that's probably was because of the promise. So the promise that due to its asynchronous nature, it probably did malform this console login. But still, like, just what I wanted to show you, that we're looping over the range of pages. So that's just the important thing to consider here. Okay, so now here we need to extract HTML from response object, and I would just simply say .then, so to make sure that the request did actually kind of fire here. So .then and function. We don't even need function. We can use the arrow function definition here. So response and arrow function definition here, so it would return the response.text, this like. And in this case, here we actually want to parse our HTML, and here we can say .then, and again, like, so this case let's call this variable content, and let's simply first try to console.log this content here. So now we should have obtain this textual value for our basically our HTML code here. So you see, like, this already goes for the page number 2, so this is the page number 1. So to make sure that we did crawl through the first page, and then we did crawl through the second page right over in here, which which means that from now on we can parse this using the JQuery and then just extract the data, and that's kind of it. So let's move on basically. So we don't need to log this sort of a stuff right over in here, but instead we want to parse the content using the JQuery, and then we want to find, and we're looking for all the div tags with a class equals to quote to loop over the quote cards basically. And again here we can say .each, and yeah, this so just, did I miss any semicolons here? Seems like I didn't yet. Okay, so each, and here function, and okay, so well, actually before proceeding I would like to create a quotes list here. So what have I done? Sorry guys, sorry for this. Okay, so quotes list, and just create a variable called quotes, and this would be the type of JavaScript list. Okay, and oh my god, oh man, I just skipped that for some reason. Well, okay, let me do this again. So parsing the content dot find div tags with a class equals to quote, and dot each, and function, and here I want to create another variable. So let's call this current quotes data, and here let's create the variable quote, and this would be a type of an object, or if it was a Python I would call this a dictionary. Okay, so here let's specify the key quote, and now to extract the value we need to reference this keyword to reference the particular object that represents the div with the class of quote, and here we need to recursively find element the span with a class of text. Okay, I just remember the selectors by heart, so let me just try to save the time by avoid you watching here to the source code here. Okay, and also as far as we want to extract the data for the only element, and it's the first element, we can simply say like dot text right over in here, and that should be literally enough. And also let's say console.log and our quote to make sure that we actually do print our quote to console. Okay, so here we got our data structure, and for now it contains the only element named quote. Perfect. So now let's try to extract the author as well. So in order to do this we can simply say like author, and again .this and .find, and now we're looking for a small tag with a class equals to author, and we also want to extract the text out of it. Did I put a comma? Yeah, I did. So let's have a look. Okay, now we got both the quote and the author, and now things are gonna be a little bit more interesting. So now we would try to append the list of tags to our quote variable. So I would also like to create, so just right over in here I would like to create, oh my god, I didn't have to run this, sorry, just shift and enter to avoid that behavior. Okay, so let's call this tags, and the tags would be let me think, it would be the list, right? And we would be appending to this sort of a list just later on in the game. Okay, and now we need to actually loop over tags, yeah. And here, if I can say like this, and I want to find all the a tags with a class of tag. So just like this, class equals to tag, and then again I want to use this each method actually to make it to loop over every single element, like this one, this one, this one, this one, and we want to extract the tag name and the tag actually and the tag oh my god, h reference, right? Okay, so first let me try to create this tag, current tag data. So current tag data, and here let's create the variable tag, and this would be the object again, and here we will have name, which would stand for the tag name, and okay, I'll provide this just right in a moment, and also URL. Okay, so tag name here we can say like this dot text, right? And here would be this dot attribute of hrefs, and I think this should work. And the very last thing to consider here, so as far as we did extract this sort of a tag, we also need to append the tag to quote. So here we can say, so we have this quote, right? So quote dot tags, this is called tags, right? Okay, dot push, and this sort of a tag. And if I did everything right, now we should obtain a nested data structure here. So okay, it seems like tags to be the array. Okay, and here we got, yeah, within this tags array we got the name and the URL, and here as well, like we have the name and the URL, which is quite pretty fantastic. Okay, okay, perfect. So the next thing to consider, okay, let me just try to have a look. So what else to be done here? Yeah, it seems like we already do extract all our data, and as far as every single quote seems to be just pretty fine. Instead of logging this to console, let's actually store this to the quotes data list. So append quote to quotes list. Okay, so here I'm referencing the quotes variable and say dot push, and push every single quote here. Okay, just try to put some semicolons as well. So yeah, I guess now this should work pretty nicely. So let's have a look at our quotes variable. Okay, so here is our quote. So we got quote, author, and the list of tags, and for every single tag we get this name and the URL, yeah, which is absolutely fantastic data structure that we actually supposed to get there. So from now on, the data extraction logic is kind of finished, and you see like we scraped the quotes from 2 pages. So this quote is as the very first page. You see this like a day without sunshine, like, you know, night, and then you see like these quotes are not already available here, so I can just show you them within the next page just to make sure that we do scrape them as well. So it starts with this life is what you make it and all this stuff. So here is the quote, and okay, this life is what you make it, and it ends up with the life is what happens to us while we're making our other plans. And this is the very last one. So just to make sure that we did extract the data from the both pages out there. Okay, so from now on we need to actually create a download link, and so let's call this download data as let's start with as JSON, yeah, because it's kind of easier way, at least within this Chrome Developer Tools console. And then I would also show you some additional stuff that you need to do in order to convert data to the CSV like format, and then we would download that exactly the same way. So download data is JSON. So the very first thing to consider here, we actually need to so right over in here we need to create another element that would serve as a download link. So if I select the head tag using JQuery, so this time we don't need to use this create element because we have the JQuery already been imported here. So the head, and we can simply say like append, and here we want to append the a tag, and the download attribute would stand for the file name. So let's call this quotes.json. Okay, and this is it. This is it for now. And also now we need to find this element again using the jQuery selector. So we're looking for a tag with the attribute of download equals to quotes.json. Okay, and now we need to specify the attribute of hrefs, and this like attribute of hrefs, and the second argument would actually set the attribute of hrefs. So if we don't specify the second one, we would just print us the hrefs, but it's not available really, and we need to actually create that. So here I would like to say I would like to create a window dot URL dot create object URL, and it would take a new blob as the argument. So here we need to enclose the data which is supposed to be well, let me just quickly provide the properties like type equals to text. Okay, and now we need to stringify our quotes list of dictionaries. So in order to do this, we can simply say like JSON dot stringify and our quotes. And also to make some nice indentations, let's add a couple of parameters. So replacer, we don't need this, and the space would be equal to indentation of 2 spaces. Okay, and I guess yeah, so hold my breath and try to hit enter here. So yeah, so here we did create our quotes the JSON download link, and if I just click this link, you see like it does kind of show us the data that we need, but it didn't yet download, and if it was actually downloaded, sometimes it happens. This would be this like a sort of a file name instead of quotes.json. And also I'm not sure, but maybe just hold on a sec, maybe we didn't need to well, okay, so I'm just not sure is specifying the text instead of text/CSV enough or not here. Just don't remember, so let me try to do one last thing. So in order to actually invoke the downloading of this data programmatically, again we need to reference this sort of an element, and then we can use a little trick using not the jQuery but the bare JavaScript. So if we just select the first element, and here we can call .click, and this should have downloaded the file. Okay, so this is it basically. So here is our quotes.json being downloaded. So you see, like, we got the list. So this is the JSON format. We got this author, quote, author, and tags like name, URL, and all this stuff for up to 2 pages basically. So well, this is already kind of pretty nice. And now I would like to convert this data to the CSV format, but just for the simplicity, I don't really want to deal with the tags. So I will create the CSV with only 2 columns, like the quote and the author. So just in order to save you time and show this as the proof of concept, because when we're dealing with the nested data, well, me personally, I never store that to the CSV format when we have this like nested data. But if we don't have a nested data but just the plain data like this, no matter how many key value pair is available, in this case the method that I'm supposed to be showing you right now, guys, is gonna be 100% supplicable. So now we need let's create it would be better to write this line by line. So everything that we're supposed to be writing further on. So let's call this like download data as CSV. Okay, so we would be downloading data as CSV. So let's create the variable and call this variable CSV, and this would be the bare string, JavaScript string here. And we don't have a module like CSV like we have in Python, so we need to create the structure of the CSV file manually. So we need to create these comma separated values, and then just to actually by hands kind of adding those new lines. And well, it's way easier to show rather than to explain. So anyway, I'm using this JQuery each method to loop over our quotes, and again the function it would take the key and the value arguments here. And okay, so first let me just try to check that out if I did everything right. So let's try to console.log and the value. So it should have not the value of the value. Okay, it's not exactly what I'm supposed to have here. Okay, I'm sorry guys, I just made a little mistake here. So first we actually need to loop over the all the quotes, and I treated the quotes to be an object, not a list. So let's and now actually just try to say like again JQuery each, and I'm using this. Okay, and this, in our case, this would be an object actually, and function, and now this should be key and the value available. And okay, so just to make sure value off. Okay, yeah, perfect. So now we have our values been printed here. So it doesn't really print the tags because like it's not a bare textual value, so that's the objects, the list themselves. But here we got our data. So just let me try to explain you what I mean here. So if we now create a row variable, so okay, let me just try to add some commentary. So first we need to loop over quotes. Okay, here loop over object values within a given quote. Okay, and just hold on a second, just thinking where exactly I need to put this. Yeah, so here I need to create a row variable, so create row string, this like string, and var row. It would be equal to just an empty string for a while, and here we need to say that row plus equals the value and plus the comma. And here let's actually try to console.log our row. Okay, so you see, like, now we already have this okay, so we also looping over the objects, which is not really that great. I'm just wondering, how can I limit this behavior? Well, I could have actually dropped this, because so it's like kind of a list of objects. Well, okay guys, just let me think for a while. Well, probably, I'm not sure if this works, but let's try to say if key is equal to quote or key is equal to author. So I'm not sure if this is gonna work, but let me just try this. Yeah, perfect. So now we got this quote followed by the author, but we don't really need this very last comma, and we want to slice that and replace with a new line instead. So let's try to do that as well. So here we need to slice last comma. I don't know, probably there is a better way of doing this, but this is what I came up with so far. So we can say like row equals row dot slice, and we want to slice the very last element here. Okay, and we now print this. It should have sliced the comma. Yeah, and also we need to append the new line feed to the row. Okay, and just simply saying like row plus equals and the new line here, right? So the new line won't be printed obviously, but yeah, nevertheless. So from now on, what we can do here, instead of logging this stuff to the console, we can say like append row to CSV. Okay, CSV, yes, the variable, and just say like CSV plus equals row. Okay, and I run this, and if we just have a look at our CSV module again, we see like we got this the world. Yeah, so this is it. And also, if we do this one more time and then have a look at CSV, it would be appending the probably will this be appending the data that we don't need, or hold on a sec, or we do okay, so just to make sure, so let's actually create CSV output, and let's create the CSV right over in here, and also we'll say like quote and author, just to provide the headers, basically author and the new line. Okay, this like so. Let's have a look at our CSV again. Okay, quote author. Yeah, it seems like so. now what we can do now actually, so now we can actually use the same link, or we can actually create a new link. So let's say create download CSV link. Let's better create a new one here. So I would like to say now again, like to our head, I want to append a link, and this time download would be equal to quotes.csv. okay, and now we need to select them as well. So a tag with the download equals to quotes.csv, and the attribute of the href would be window URL, create object URL, and this time new blob. And instead of stringify the JSON, we need just to enclose to the square brackets to make it iterable. We need to enclose our CSV, and now the type. Type we can say here like text/CSV. Okay, so here we did create another yet another download link, so quotes.csv this time, and again, just to invoke this programmatically, just to copy this and reference the first element and click, and we should obtain quotes.csv here. Okay. Okay, this is a bit strange. Oh, download multiple files. Yeah, hello. Surely. Okay, so and let's have a look at our CSV data being downloaded from the target site. I hope this should be quite pretty nice here. Okay, it's not yet that clear. Okay, so we got our quote and 20 quotes, right? Perfect. And we got our author and like okay, so there is one more little issue here regarding the CSV. So we didn't specify, I guess, yeah, like in the CSV module we do specify an escape quote. So it does make it does actually treat the commas to be like separating the values for every single stuff here. So okay, let me try to quickly think how to fix this. Okay, so I'm just wondering, does enclosing every single quote within, so hold on a sec, so if I'm just trying to here so this goes for so can I enclose the value with so it is gonna help actually, I'm just wondering, so let's try and CSV. Okay, I guess this should help basically, and now I just need to so we don't need to append anything here. Well, actually let's just create let's just update our downloads, this download file here, and let me I'm not sure if this is gonna work, but I really hope so. So I just want to close this one as well. Okay, just too many files open here, so yeah, perfect, guys. So we did it basically. Yeah, just by simply enclosing the every single quote and the author within this sort of a double quotes, which is the default CSV way of handling the inner commas within the columns. So we actually did it. So you see, like, the quote is now, even though it does contain some commas within, it doesn't affect the number of columns, and we also got the author here, which is absolutely fantastic. So this is it from my side, and I hope you've enjoyed something. I hope you've enjoyed watching this little web scraping in the browser crash course. Hope you learned something interesting out of it. So this is it basically. Until the next time, and take care.